And speaking of restore, there are actually two ways that an Exchange item can be restored, and let's go through each one of them. In this particular case, let's pick Adele Vance here as the mailbox to be restored. And you'll notice the first way of restoring is simply by clicking one of these three dots right here under Actions. Let's try that and show the options that are available to an administrator. The first and probably most obvious one is to restore the full mailbox of that particular user. Now, you also have the option of restoring individual granular items like the contact list or the calendar, tasks, notebooks, or journals, depending on whatever item is needed to be restored. In the case of a full mailbox restore, let's take a look at some further options that are available to the administrator. In this case, the administrator has the option of restoring the full mailbox. And this full mailbox, it should be noted, is a soft restore as well. And so that means that all that restore data is merged with existing data and does not overwrite anything that is already in that mailbox since the last snapshot. And it should also be pointed out that users have an option of doing a point-in-time restore as well. In this case, if you pick a particular date in the past, you can also select a particular time period for that date. And what the Cloud Backup does is it looks for the closest snapshot associated with that time and that date stamp. And just as with a full mailbox restore, this is a soft restore, a merging of the data as well. Does a very nice way of appending the restore date to each of the individual items that is restored, and that way there are no duplicates, and those can be easily sorted and filtered out as necessary. Now, there are two different options for the destination of this restore. The default, of course, is to restore the full contents to that same user, so it goes right back into their Office 365 cloud account. But an end user also has the option of restoring the full contents to a different mailbox. Now, this can be particularly useful if that end user is no longer with the company and the administrator would want to restore it to all that data to his or her replacement, or potentially to a shared mailbox that can be shared by multiple individuals. Either way, it does the same thing and restores all those items that are selected back to full operation. Now, let's touch on the second way, and probably the more powerful way of restoring items. In this case, again, we're going to pick Adele as our restore target. And by clicking on the actual name, you'll notice that up pops the individual granular elements associated with that mailbox. Everything, of course, from the standard contacts and calendars, drafts, inboxes, etc. But what this does allow you to do is drill further down into the mailbox to try to identify a specific item that might be worth restoring. In this case, we're going to go right into that inbox for Adele, and you'll notice here that the individual email boxes of email items in that inbox are also options for an end user to restore. And by clicking on that particular button, that particular email is quickly restored. And for an individual email, that can happen literally in seconds. Obviously, if you're looking to restore a full inbox or maybe a full mailbox, that will take a little bit longer. But for individual items, it's very, very easy and seamless.